Welcome to 84 TV Radio News Update, coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Adirayo Dada. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved immediate payment of the February and March salaries to lecturers in federal universities who have not registered in the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPIS. The payments had previously been withheld by the government. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, made this disclosure in a statement signed by his media aide, Emmanuel Nzomu. Ngige said the president has also directed the Minister of Finance, Budget and Planning, and the Accountant General of the Federation to make the payments urgently so as to cushion the damaging effects of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown on lecturers and members of their families. 117 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in Nigeria on Tuesday, 59 in Lagos, 29 in Abuja, 14 in Kano, 6 in Borno, 4 in Katsina, 3 in Ogun, 1 each in Rivers and Bauchi states. So far, this is the highest number of confirmed cases in a single day. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, who made this announcement at 11:25 p.m. on the 21st of April, there are now 782 confirmed cases of COVID-19 reported in the country. 197 patients have been discharged, while 25 have died. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, on Tuesday said members from the same family cannot receive money from the Conditional Cash Transfer Scheme ongoing in many states. She also said the government is focused on the electronic implementation of the cash transfer scheme using bank verification numbers of beneficiaries as well as their mobile phone numbers to improve transparency of the process. Responding to the claims that two members of a family were paid each 20,000 naira recently, the minister said it is unlikely for such to happen because disbursement requires a very tedious process involving all critical stakeholders in the community. The minister showed that 279 trucks of grains have been deployed to the frontline states that are put on lockdown by the president. The Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Mr. Francis Okie, resumed work on Tuesday after recovering from coronavirus. The Speaker, who is the index case of the state, stressed the need for continuous public enlightenment on preventive measures, including personal hygiene and social distancing, to check the spread of coronavirus in the state. He promised that the State Assembly will study existing laws and amend them to tackle challenges associated with COVID-19, including stigmatization. Meanwhile, Julius Berger on Tuesday donated another batch of beds, mattresses, purpose-built container offices, and sentry posts to the new Idu Abuja Isolation Center in the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria to support the treatment of COVID-19 patients. Julius Berger PLC said it made this donation on Monday to sustain its support of the government as well as the COVID-19 isolation treatment centers and health institutions nominated by the World Health Organization, WHO, to fight the pandemic in the country. The company says it has made similar donations across the country. And on the foreign scene, the United States President Donald Trump on Tuesday explained that his forthcoming executive order barring new immigrants in order to fight COVID-19 will apply only to people seeking the green card, and it will last for 60 days, and it won't affect workers entering the country on a temporary basis. Trump said the executive order is being written and he's likely to sign it on Wednesday, adding that he will review the order at the end of the period to decide if it should be renewed. Coming up after the break, a glimmer of hope as the United Kingdom begins new vaccine tests from Thursday, and later on, Mauritania becomes coronavirus-free.
Nigeria's Center for Disease Control, NCDC, is the government organization with the responsibility to protect the health of all Nigerians. NCDC has a Connect Center with trained officers who can respond to any questions you have on infectious diseases, especially in emergency situations. You can reach the NCDC Connect Center by phone calls and other social media platforms. Voice calls are toll-free, and the trained officers will give you information or guidance on where where to get immediate help. Call NCDC toll-free line on 0800-97000010. Website www.ncdc.gov.ng. NCDC. Let's work together to protect the health of Nigerians. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health and the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, supported by University of Maryland, Nigeria program, with funding from U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention.
Welcome back. In the United Kingdom, Health Secretary Matt Hancock announced that human trials of a potential coronavirus vaccine developed at the University of Oxford will start this Thursday. Mr. Hancock, speaking at the Daily Downing Street press conference, said the government is throwing everything at the search for a vaccine and announced he is providing £20 million to the Oxford team to help fund its clinical trials, with a further £22.5 million going to researchers at the Imperial College, London. And still talking on coronavirus, the United States-based Johns Hopkins University said confirmed COVID-19 cases have exceeded 2.5 million around the world. According to the latest statistics released by the university, the global death toll has exceeded 177,000. Meanwhile, Mauritania has recorded no new cases of coronavirus 2 days after the last patient tested negative. The West African country has recorded a total of 7 cases, the first recorded on March 13th. 6 patients recovered, while 1 died. The authorities say all the 6 recovered patients will be in isolation for 14 days to rule out any chances of infection. The Uganda Ministry of Health said 2 Chinese nationals that were discharged this Sunday from Mulago National Referral Hospital after full recovery from COVID-19 will still have to face the law. The patients were among 6 Chinese nationals who were intercepted last month in Zombo district as they tried to cross the border to the Democratic Republic of Congo following their escape from quarantine in the capital, Kampala. The State Minister for Primary Healthcare, Dr. Joyce Muriku Kaduchu, says although these 2 Chinese were handed over to their country's embassy in Kampala, they still have queries to answer. A 60-year-old inmate in Michigan named William Garrison, who was sentenced to life in prison as a juvenile, has died from coronavirus 3 weeks before he was set to be released. Garrison had spent 44 years in prison on the first-degree murder conviction connected to a shooting that happened when he was 16 in 1976. He was to be released first week of May, but he died of COVID-19 on the 20th of April. A spokesperson for the Department of Corrections, Chris Gouts, said the agency had tried to release Garrison on parole earlier this year, but he refused because he wanted to walk out completely free. The Department of Corrections offered parole to Garrison again when coronavirus began to spread across the United States, citing his age and concerns about the virus. This time, Garrison agreed, and the Department of Corrections asked the prosecutor's office if the mandatory 28-day waiting period for parole could be waived for him. He died before the office responded to the request. 520 of Michigan's 38,000 prisoners have tested positive for COVID-19. 16 other inmates have died from the virus. No fewer than 200 contacts of recent Ebola cases have been vaccinated in Beni in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The World Health Organization Regional Office for Africa published in its weekly bulletin on outbreaks and other emergencies, while confirming that a new case of Ebola virus was recorded in the city of Beni on the 10th of April, following 52 days without an infection. 3 vaccination teams were activated to carry out vaccinations around the community where the deaths were confirmed. According to the bulletin, public health measures have been taken to curb the spread of Ebola in the country, while response and surveillance activities are being strengthened with preparedness enhanced in surrounding areas. And that's it on 84 TV Radio News Update, coming to you live from Abuja. You can join the conversation on our social media platforms at 84 TV Radio on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at 84 TV Radio. Many thanks for watching. I am Adira Yodada.